All right. How about we get the ball rolling? We're excited. You'll see a number of different hosts here online with their cameras on. These are various team members here at Vasion who have played a role getting us to this point, introducing an expanded interface to what we have with PrinterLogic Admin. We have a lot of exciting things to go over today. But before we get into it, wanted to share a video to introduce Automate just a little bit, get you all excited, maybe early AM for some of y'all. So turn on the volume and we'll get into it.
All right. Doesn't that look exciting? Hey, everyone. We are so thrilled to be talking to you today about Vasion Automate. My name is Sue Caniglia. I'm a director of product here at Vasion, and I'm joined by Eric Judd, who's a senior product marketing manager.
There you go, Sue. YouTube wanted to start again. Sorry about that.
Why don't we move to the next slide so we can talk about what is Automate? Well, here at Vasion, we really want to help enable our customers to have the ability to digitize and automate your everyday processes. And to do that, Vasion Automate combines print and digital processes to streamline those systems and boost efficiency. And we do this with products like Capture. So if you think about simplified scanning where you can scan to email or scan to cloud storage. We also do it with forms where you can create web or PDF forms, and signatures can be incorporated into forms, and as well as workflows where you can manage approvals, all that with the print solution that you use and value today. So why don't we look at what's new? Well, PrinterLogic is now branded as Vasion Print in the admin console, one of many products in Vasion Automate. But the great part is that your admin experience has not changed at all. The admin console functionality remains exactly the same, but now you'll have that left rail that shows up on the side so that you have access to these great new features. And your end users, their experience doesn't change at all. So what kind of problems are we solving? If you go to the next slide, you're probably used to having a lot of different applications to help you manage workflows or maybe even manual steps that you're doing. And these apps can be siloed and disconnected, tedious to learn and even use, and sometimes even waste time. But getting your processes done really quick and quickly, along with gathering that right data, is so important. Poorly connected systems fail to create that seamless experience that we all desire. There's a learning curve, which creates confusion, and of course, those growing costs that are associated with having so many different applications. All of this results in wasted time and money. 78% of business leaders believe they could save up to 3 hours a day by automating tasks, and that equates to roughly 30 hours a month per employee. 70% of businesses believe that an automation solution is going to create more effective teams, And 90% of employees are burdened with those repetitive, manual, and boring tasks. But Vasion can connect your company and boost efficiency by reducing time spent on those repetitive and manual tasks. It's easy to use, it bridges the print world with the digital world, and it drives savings. It's going to make you a hero and allow you to focus time on those really important things. Our initial focus is the IT admins like yourself and the processes you face daily. So you'll be able to reduce turnaround time for onboarding and offboarding, easily manage those workflows around hardware and software requests, and even support employee and customer feedback by getting that right data. And it all starts with opting into that new login page for your instance. So we've been rolling out the opt-in modal now for a little while, intentionally to gather feedback from customers and ensure you have that seamless experience. We're going to continue to accelerate that process. So by early March, all eligible instances will have that opportunity to opt in. And if you want to fast track that opt-in, we have a process to request that by simply filling out a form. And if you have questions about whether or not you're eligible, just reach out to your customer success rep. Once you opt in, you'll have access to the new login page that supports both print and Vasion products. It also supports identity providers and single sign-on. And then after you log in, all admins with admin console access will see that updated experience with that new side navigation so that you can access all the Vasion products. But you may be wondering what's actually available to you. I think the great news is that Automate is included with your Printer Logic instance, right? So you get 5 creators, and that's for forms and workflows. You get 2,500 completed workflows, which are workflows that are started and completed. And your print queues remain the same as before, so nothing changes there. If you need more creators or workflows, those are available as add-ons. And our print bundles are still available to address some of those special needs that you might have. So are you ready to see that experience? Eric, why don't you walk us through a demo?
Okay, I'll do it. Great. Thanks so much, Sue. Appreciate that. I'm going to jump over to the login screen that you'll see when you opt in. We'll sign in with single sign in with Okta there. And that brings me right to a screen that you should be quite familiar with. You should be used to seeing your Printer Logic instance here. Everything is the same functionality, same tools, same processes, everything that you're used to, but we've expanded the interface to include a few additional capabilities. And you'll see those located, as Sue pointed out previously, here on this left purple navigation rail. There's a number of icons here that are new. There's a forms icon, which is where a lot of these business processes start, with creating forms where data can be entered by individuals and then moved through a business process, a workflow. We have another icon here for signature, where you can utilize a signature tool. At this point in time, that's just available in the forms, and I'll show that to you in a moment. We also have workflow. This button here, this is where you go. You navigate to create workflows. They're distributed via email to individuals where they can participate to help processes move forward. And then we have an admin app where creators can be created. You can add individuals, assign their authentication, and so forth. We'll start with the Forms button and show you the abilities there. Click on Forms, and we'll jump right in. You'll see here a number of different form templates that already exist. We have some that are in a published state, others are still in draft form. I've created a number of forms here, and I want to walk you through them. We'll preview a couple. I'll show you how to build one, and then we'll see how a form can be distributed, either by a URL, an embedded link, or within a workflow. So we'll come down here. When we look at the type of form, we really see two types. There's web forms and PDFs. And let's preview this PDF so you can see what was created there. Go into preview, and you'll see that a PDF was uploaded previously, and I was able to place components on top of that for an individual to fill out. They can sign down here at the bottom, enter the date when they signed, and all of that info will be stored digitally. So that's an example of a PDF form. We also have web forms, and I'll show you how to build a web form right now. If we were to upload a PDF or build a web form, we would come up to this top right corner where it says New Form. I'll click on that icon, and you can see you choose whichever one is appropriate. For this instance, I'll show you how to build a web form. It's super simple, and we've designed it intentionally for anyone to do. The way to do it is simply we drag and drop icons over to a field. I'll show you a form I have in draft status right now, and we'll be able to iterate on that. It is this new hire onboarding form. And for today, we'll go over a use case on how we could use Automate to onboard a new employee. But if I come in here to edit this existing draft of a form, this template, you'll see that we have a number of things already in the queue ready to go. This right here took me about 3 to 5 minutes to create. I was able to drag over and insert a logo at the top. I dragged over a text field, a component there to add some text. I inserted a component with the layout. I knew I needed 2 columns, so I took the columns, dragged and dropped that over added a first and a last name. I did that here with the text field component. This is for onboarding employees. So I wanted the option for them to say whether they needed a monitor, start date. But if I was looking at this and I was sure it wasn't quite complete, let's say I wanted to add a couple forms. One, perhaps a file upload form. So I'll come and drop that in right there. And you'll see that gives the opportunity for the person filling out the form to upload files. And then let's say it also needs a signature. For our signature tool, you can drag and drop it right there. And voila, if we want to preview that form and come in here, this took me 3 to 5 minutes to build. It's super easy. It looks great. It's fully customizable. And let's check out just to see real quick what this signature component looks like. If I click on it, there's 3 ways I can add a signature to a form. I can either upload an existing JPEG or image of a signature. I can draw my signature or simply type it. So just like that, an individual is able to enter their information, sign a form, and go and submit it to a next individual in a workflow. So I'm going to exit out of this draft and show you a form that we'll then use in a workflow. And we'll run that workflow. You'll see how it gets delivered via email and so forth. So the form we're going to use is this new hire onboarding form. Preview it real quick. But it's a simple form where a new hire could come on, add their information, and start a process to make sure they're ready to go on day 1. So that's the forms builder. If we jump down to workflow, we'll see where this is called the workflow designer, and we have 3 different areas that we'll focus on today. We have templates, active workflows that are currently in process, and then completed workflows. You may be asking up at the top, what is this rules and routing button? We're not going to focus on that today, but it has to do with directing print jobs, and it's something that we'll go over at a future point in time. Today, we'll focus on the forms and the workflow aspects of Automate. But here in this templates section, you see all the workflows that exist now ready for me to run. In active, we see workflows that are currently deployed but have not yet been completed. And if I were to look at one, for example, say this customer demo, new hire onboarding, step 2 of 4. If I click on that, you'll see this portion opens up on the right, and I can see all the different steps of the workflow that have been created. If I wasn't quite sure where we were at in the workflow, I know we're stopped at step 2. The start date was back on January 31st, so I want to see where we're at. I can come in here and I can see we got to step 2. Something was approved by Eric Judd, but we never made it to step 3. So that's an opportunity for me to follow up and keep things in motion. And then completed workflows. I can come here and see workflows that have been completed and access that data and see where we're at. So coming in here to the templates part of the workflow app, just like with what we did with showing you how to create a form, I want to show you real quick how to create a workflow. It's really easy to do. We designed it so that anyone can do it with and that there's not a steep learning curve. I'm going to come in here to new workflow. I clicked on that button and then click on business process. We want to create a new business process. And it's really easy. I'm going to name it this one. I'll call practice. I'm going to add a new step and create a workflow that'll demonstrate a use case for, say, onboarding a new employee. We know we had created that form previously, that new hire intake form. So the first step, we want that to be distributing a form to an individual. So I'll come in here, and this pick list will show the forms that we have published back in the forms section of Automate. I'm gonna go here. We got this new hire onboarding form. Select that, and then I select who do we want to assign it to. Let's say the new hire today will be Eric Judd. We need to send this to him. He's starting at a future point in time. Cool. Hit save. We know that we'll need to intake that information. It'll probably need to be reviewed, make sure it's accurate and ready to go. So to do that, I can add another step to this workflow. Come down here. Rather than selecting form, this time let's select approval. We assign it to someone. And so when that first step's completed, email will be sent to the person this is assigned to in step 2. So let's say we need to select someone in HR to review this information, make sure it's accurate. So let's go Abby. Abby would be able to do that. She has those permissions to be able to review and accept. What are they going to be reviewing? Let's select that first step of the workflow. Add a description. This is some text we would deliver in the email to Abby to let her know what's going on. So please review the information, We'd be able to write a message to Abby so she knows what to do. And then there'll be a call to action for her. She can either accept or reject it. Perhaps with the reject piece, we want to require a comment to understand why. But we could have these read anything. Perhaps it's task complete, need more time. You can see how we can call in information to understand where someone is at with the process. Okay, so I'll hit save there and so forth. We can continue. Let's say for a third or a fourth step in a process, we wanted to hear back from the new hire, understand how their experience went. So maybe after they get onboarded, we have a final step to distribute a satisfaction survey to that new hire to understand how their process was. Hopefully your imagination is going right now and you're being able to see some use cases in your own day-to-day experience where there's multiple steps to a business process and you can tie them together and have different steps be initiated with call to actions delivered via email to different individuals to be able to keep something in motion. Okay, so I'm going to make sure we add this. We're going to add that to the original new hire. Cool. Save. So creating a business process workflow is as easy as 1, 2, 3. We just did that right there. I'll save this one. To deploy it, we'd need to publish it. Save it for now. And then exit out of here. And you'll see here in my different templates, we've got a number of workflows. This is the one we're going to demonstrate today. It's called Demo New Hire Onboarding. And let's just preview that real quick before I start it. You'll see the different steps. We have the new hire onboarding form. We have an approval process for that. Someone's going to need to review, approve that information, say we're good to go. And then another approval, perhaps that's someone else in IT who's set up, ready to execute on it. I assigned Shannon to do that. And in the form, I gave instructions to Shannon that he'll need to go and set up all the software and hardware needed for the new hire, and then satisfaction survey to cap it off. Okay, so the new hire, we need to get them running. To start that, what I would do, I'd come in here and just click Start Workflow, and that would trigger an email to be sent to the first assignee in the workflow, and then sequentially we'll move through the process. I'm going to come over and show you. So let's say we started that workflow. The first email goes out. What happens? We come in here and that new hire or whomever it's assigned to gets an email saying, hello, Eric Judd, you've been sent a form, new hire onboarding form. Okay, so let's click on this purple button, go to form. I'm going to click on that, and that will take me into the form where I'm able to fill out information. I had it sent to myself for the purposes of this demo, but let's say Abby Smith was the new hire. She receives this information, so she's filling it out. Abby Smith, department, I'm joining marketing, laptop. I want a MacBook Air. I want a monitor. My start date is March 1st. Awesome. Okay, submit that information. Ready to go. Form completed. So what happens now? Now the next assignee in the workflow receives an email with the information that Abby just inserted, and they're able to action on it. The workflow continues to move automatically. So the inbox of that individual, we would come to it here. They would receive this email here, action required. Okay, Eric Judd sent you an item to review, or Abby Smith sent you this item to review. She filled out this form. Let's go to the approval. Okay, click on that, open it up, and we'll be able to see the form that Abby Smith just filled out. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see it. Be able to review this information. It's got this detail portion on the right side of the screen. Please review and approve or reject these details for the new hire. So I'm looking at it. Everything looks good. If we had multiple pages in a form, I'd be able to scroll up and down and see and move to those different pages rather quickly. Everything looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and approve this. Cool. And then the next individual in the workflow would get an email triggering their action. So in this case, Shannon would receive an email. He would go forth, set up the hardware needed, allocate licenses, set up the training and so forth, everything so that Abby is ready to go on day one. When he says, yes, I've completed, Abby gets that employee satisfaction survey. So that's the process for creating a form, putting it into a workflow, running that workflow start to finish. Super easy. We've designed it so that it can be done quickly. There's still a lot of flexibility and a lot of ways to customize things to the different types of processes you may be working on day to day. Hopefully that does things like makes things more efficient, removes random, chasing down individuals to see where they're at, following up with emails, and we can streamline things and make it more efficient. Okay. I'm going to jump back into the slides now. That's the Automate demo. I'm sure you have some questions. And so this is the opportunity now to go in and answer any questions you may have. before we do that, Sue, do you have anything you want to add to what I shared there with the Automate demo?
No, that was a great demo, Eric. Thank you for taking time to do that. We've actually engaged a few of our product managers and other employees to help answer questions, just so you can meet some of the faces behind Vasion Automate. And we've got a few questions that are already in the QA chat. If you have any others, please just go ahead and add. The first question is asking, will the new portal break existing MFA configurations with third-party IDPs like Okta? And if so, does the new pages support the same or more MFA options? Justin, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, thanks, Sue. Great question, Craig. So the new unified login works with all existing and already configured IDPs and third-party sources. So you will see no interruption. You'll just be able to click and enter like normal.
Great. Thanks, Justin.
Yep.
And then we have someone who missed a little bit of the first piece that we did, and they're asking, is the form builder an additional cost or is it built into your current subscription? So everything you saw today is within your Printer Logic instance once you choose to opt in. It includes 5 creator users, and a creator user is someone that can create forms and workflows. It also includes 2,500 completed workflows. Those are workflows that have been started and completed. And if you need more than that, there are add-ons available, and you can just contact your customer success rep. The next question is, do forms have conditional field display? Can you store a table of data to reuse in multiple forms as a pick list? Dave, do you want to answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Sue. So Forms does have conditional field display. It's just an advanced setting that you would configure. And then for the second part of the question, not yet. So that is something that we will be looking to add, but we have a little bit of work to get to that point to be able to store a data table and then reference that in the future. But that is something we plan on in the future.
Great. And Dave, we have a few more that are around forms and signatures. So why don't we have you answer these? Asking one, is there an API for the forms?
So not yet. APIs is something that our teams are going to be working on towards this year. So there'll be quite a bit of effort towards that as we see that as a big priority early on. So that will be coming soon.
Great. And maybe you can also talk about confirming, how do you confirm who the signature is coming from?
Yeah, so we actually capture a couple different things. When we're assigning these forms out to be signed, we're actually choosing who that person is, and we capture all the information about that user at the time of signature. So we're capturing, their IP and all the different stuff to go through that.
Great. And is there a function to gather multiple signatures in one form?
So not yet. We're actually right now building out the foundational piece to support multi-user assignments within forms. So that will be coming soon as well.
Yeah, so Dave talked a lot about things that are on our roadmap and things that are in play and being worked on. But I also just wanted to let you know that we do have another product called Vasion Automate Pro that is not within the Printer Logic instance, but that's also a product that we offer. It's very robust in functionality and helps with more complex workflows that you might have. So if you have any questions around Vasion Automate Pro and you want to learn more about that tool, please just reach out to your customer success rep. If you do not opt in proactively, will it automatically be enabled at some point down the line? The answer to that question is yes. Right now, we're working with customers that are eligible and meet certain criteria, and we're talking to them about some of the feedback that they have as well. Those eligible customers should all be enabled in early March. And from there, we'll begin setting up a timeline or determining the timeline to get everyone turned on. Will users see the workflow, the forms, signature options immediately when the new portal is launched? If so, can this be hidden until reviewed and tested internally? So any admin that logs in will be able to see these options immediately. You can always remove those permissions so that they can't actually do anything while you're reviewing and testing it. And if you want to talk more about testing and reviewing, or maybe you want a deeper dive demo, again, just reach out to your customer success manager or rep, and they'll be happy to help you. Dave, if a form is rejected during the workflow, does the form go back to the previous person that approved the form for follow-up or modification? Or if not, what happens in that process?
Yeah, so currently the workflow will actually end at that point. Our teams are going to be working on some conditional logic to be able to do those rerouting types of flows. So that will be coming also soon in the year. So that's something the team's going to be working towards going forward.
Yeah, that's great. We have a lot of things mapped out on our roadmap to work on. The next question is around auto-populating fields based on the user using a form, such as filling in their name and email automatically.
Yeah, so currently you can. It is a little more technical in the interface right now, so you'd have to understand how to write some JSON and JavaScript to do that. But we're actually looking to enable that capability in the UI, so we take away that need to be a little more technical. But the capability is there today. Yes.
Great, thank you. And Jeremy's asking, I'll need to show this to my team. Is this recording going to be made available later? Yes, you will get a copy of this recording along with that link to a form in case you haven't seen the opt-in modal yet and you want to be able to do a fast track opt-in. We'll make that form available to you as well. Do you need licenses for all collaborators, such as those filling out the forms or in line in a workflow for content additions or alterations? So right now, anyone that can create or collaborate on that form does require a create license. So those creator licenses would be limited to that. I think I've answered that question. Anything else anyone want to add?
I would add to that is the end users, whoever you're assigning those to, do not require a creator license. Just the people that are creating and contributing to the creation of the form or workflow.
Yep, great. And remember, if you need more than the 5 creators or more than the 2,500 workflows, we do have add-ons available. Do you have to be an admin to build forms, or is there a lower level user account for other employees? At this, you don't have to be an admin, but you do have to be a creator. So you would have to have that creator permission in order to build that form. What would make you ineligible? So at this point, we have a few things that we're looking at as far as that we're working on for certain customers. So for example, and maybe this is a good one for Justin to answer since he's probably got that in his head, but
yeah, absolutely, Sue. I can take this one. So it's less about being eligible or ineligible, but more about where your phase in the release schedule for us pushing this opt-in modal to the instances is at. So we'll begin with pushing this to our direct customers first, and then we'll work through our MSPs, and then from there, we'll roll out to everyone more broadly. So hope that answers your question.
Hey, well, the app on our copiers get a new icon. So right now, this is limited to the admin console as far as what we're calling Vasion Print. So everything for your end user will stay exactly the same right now. Can we review your projected roadmap somewhere? Not necessarily just for this, but for the entire platform. That is something that product can we'll be talking about with customers as we move along. We don't have a posting right now where that roadmap is available, but we do share that with sales to some extent so that we can engage in conversations with them and talk to customers as well. So John, if you want to reach out to your customer success, we can have conversations around that in the future. So will the end user still see printer logic? Yes, the end user will continue to see printer logic on the service client and other areas that they access. Eventually, we'll get to a phase where we may roll everything into Vasion Print. But right now, we've started with the admin console. Can you send an infinite amount of forms with the current subscription? So the idea is that the two areas we're looking at are the creator user and the completed workflows. So you can create as many forms as you need to. We think the power is also in the workflows to get that information out to the people and be able to do additional tasks and automate your processes. How do we know if we are an MSP or a direct customer? Hey, that's a great question. Shannon, do you want to answer that one? How do we know if we're an MSP or a direct customer?
Yeah, I'm happy to take that one. So if you work directly with Vasion, with one of our sales representatives here at Vasion, then you are a direct customer. If you work with a managed service provider for your IT services and you use the Vasion or Printer Logic licenses through your managed service provider, then you are an MSP customer.
Great, thank you. Okay, I think this is the last question. What are the added or taken away features for Automate Pro? Well, actually, there's a lot to list here. So what I would recommend is if you're interested in, if you have more like complex processes or you know you need additional functionality that may not be available in Automate now, I would suggest that you get with your customer success rep so that they can walk you through the Automate Pro product. They would also want to learn a little bit more about the processes that you're thinking so that they can help determine, is Automate or Automate Pro a better solution for you? The more they know about the workflow that you are envisioning, the more that they can kind of map it out between the two products and see what's best. Any other questions? Last minute questions? All right, Eric, do you want to close us out?
Sounds good. That's everything for today. Thank you for joining. If you have questions, reach out to your customer success representative or support@vasion.com as well. It's been great having you here today, and we look forward to you seeing the opportunity to log in and exploring Automate and seeing what processes you have that you can get automated. So thank you so much, and we'll sign off from here. Adios.